I've located the Vico, sir. The vessel appears to be adrift.
Let's see it.
Ooh.
Life signs?
Nothing, Commander.
Damage report, Mr. Data.
That's the same ensign, right?
Yeah.
She has great hair.
Have transporter room 1. Maintain a lock on each member of your away team. I want you out of there at the first sign of trouble.
Take us to 15,000 meters, Ensign. Data, you're with me.
Come on, grab Worf. Oh yeah, let's go. What if it was a shot-for-shot remake of Heart of Glory?
Or not shot for shot, but it's just like so vaguely similar with like the same plot and stuff that you're like, wait a minute, did they know they made this, right?
Yeah. Instead of Geordi's eyes, plug into Data's eyes. Data, look over there. This is what I see, sir. That's exactly what you see. Wow. Well, it's the same team. It's the same team.
That pipe. There's a broken pipe in Heart of Glory.
Yeah, I'm sure there was. It's right there.
But yeah, I love the atmosphere.
Whoa!
Riker gets pissed. Watch out, Geordi.
Data, something's got me.
Oh, dead people. That's an odd reaction from Riker. Like he was almost mad.
Mad that they're dead.
Data?
Whoa.
Core transfer is engaged.
Stay here, Geordi. Data?
Oh, you never separate on a ship like this, where the atmosphere is clearly a horror movie.
Kind of weird to have like a kid trapped under a thing after literally the exact same thing happening in the last episode.
Yeah.
Different circumstance, obviously, but
And I understand Data having a lack of a reaction, but even Riker was like,
yeah, not like, oh my
Yeah.
god, like,
Yeah,
are
it's
you okay?
this isn't right. Why are you fine?
Mr. Worf, fire.
Sir, I can't. You're on board that ship.
Captain's log supplemental.
Oh man.
Hero worship. I like that ship design.
The degree of damage to the Vico is making our rescue attempt difficult.
Look at this. Yeah, the size difference is crazy. Probably like just that one room they beamed him to. That's it.
I'll try, Captain. But there's a lot of shielding to pull him through.
Who are you?
It's going to be okay. Here we go.
Energize.
Think Riker doesn't trust this kid after his Future Imperfect episode?
He's just, they keep going around going, am I here?
I just
Are
can't
we real?
resolve the matter stream. Not with all that Victorium alloy in the way.
None of these were real problems for the Chief.
Yeah, Miles never has any problems with this.
I recommend you and Geordi return to the ship.
Agreed. Forge.
This kid is not phased.
Yeah, no, even he's not like screaming in pain or anything.
Well, get me out of here. Oh!
How come you can pick up something so heavy?
I am an android. My strength is many times that of a human.
Is that what you're worried about right now, kid?
How are you going to save me? How about save me? So you think Data saves this kid and then the kid like obsesses over him?
Oh, like he's his hero?
Yeah.
Yeah, good idea.
Whoa! And Data has to kill him.
They kill him because of that. Just because he's annoying him.
I don't know if you knew this kid, but every single person I've ever cared about has died.
And you've made the list.
Don't be afraid.
Have we learned this kid's name yet? I don't think so.
They had purple helmets on and phaser rifles. They didn't see me.
You're safe now, Timothy.
Timothy.
I'm sorry for what happened. I bet you're hungry. Would you like me to get you something to eat?
Oh, Data's holding his hand.
Counselor, I must join Commander LaForge in engineering.
He's not gonna let him go.
Would you like Data to stay with you a little bit longer?
Spoilers, but it's like the end of the Batman. Gonna be okay. You mentioned Brent Spiner as Batman.
I am vengeance.
You've got your work cut out for you. His world is gone, Data. We're gonna have to help him build a new one.
Are we going 2 for 2 with Troy? 2 for 2?
And from the ashes of their world, we'll build a better one.
Geordi, as a child, did you ever experience a traumatic event?
What a question.
No, I don't think so. Must have been bullied as a kid, right?
I was
caught in a fire once. I must have been, I don't know, about 5. And nobody got hurt, but that was the longest couple of minutes of my life. It was a while after that before I could even let my parents get out of earshot.
Timothy no longer has that kind of support.
Yeah.
Finally, a good Geordi scene, huh?
Yeah, it's a little breadcrumbs of the Geordie lore. That's good. Imagine how terrifying that would be. You know, blind, can't see anything, you're in a fire. Probably just feels like you're dying.
Timothy, we're done with sculpture for now.
It's not finished.
Doesn't even look like the same kid.
Why don't you pick up your mythology book and follow along?
But it's not finished.
Troy, get in here. He's building. Troy!
No signs of phaser burns on the hull.
No, sir. Torsional stress levels point to a disruptor-style weapon.
2 for 2 with the coat.
The boy described a boarding party with helmets and phaser rifles.
I don't think that's likely, sir.
The boy did it?
Why wouldn't he tell us the truth?
He's still in shock. It's hard to know what's going on in his mind right now.
I love a good mystery with a sprinkle of data.
Your presence he trusts, and that's what he needs most right now.
Still building.
Teacher's got no spine, huh? Besides Troy, is there an office they can send him to?
Well, like a principal's office?
Yeah.
That's Picard, man. Just
Oh.
send him to Picard.
Captain of the entire ship, of all the stuff they're doing on this ship. Picard's the principal.
You were attempting to recreate the Dakaran Temple of Kural Hanesh?
What do you think?
Do you wish a frank evaluation?
Oh, no.
It lacks the harmony that characterized this particular temple, and the Dakaran culture in general.
Can't do anything right.
You are making an unwarranted extrapolation. I was merely offering an aesthetic analysis of this particular model.
We've seen Data parent his own robot child, but not a human child. Another aspect of putting Data through the ringer here. I like it.
I will join you in a moment, Geordi. Data out. Lieutenant LaForge requires my assistance.
Oh. Nice. We haven't seen that in a while.
And the kids moving at normal speed. They got a little maybe split shot here. Good stuff.
No emotions?
My positronic brain is not capable of generating those conditions. Goodbye.
Bye.
Haven't seen this shot since the bombing with the kid and
Wow, yeah.
these hallways. Oh yeah. All right, kid. Now you're here by yourself on camera. What's your deal? This is a reveal happens, right?
I am designed to exceed human capacity. That is correct.
He's trying to become an android.
I mean, I used to pretend I was Spider-Man as a kid, so there. Hey, there you go.
Lose all emotion. That's what a lot of men try to do as they get older.
Get used to it, kid.
Yeah. It's called being an adult.
I am functioning within established parameters.
Established parameters? You sound like Data.
I am an android.
He's got the head twitch down pretty good.
Yeah, and see the sweater he's wearing and the color scheme?
Mm-hmm. Timothy, you've only shared 2 or 3 scenes with Data. How do you know him this well?
I'm a big fan of season 1.
Androids do not need to eat or drink.
Oh, brother.
Well, it's not going to last long. Sorry. You're going to have to drink something.
Yeah, big tray. Yeah, you change your mind. Kids fold easy. Come on.
However, we sometimes like to taste things.
Yeah, see, there you go.
As you wish.
So, you're no longer human.
This reminds me of something I definitely would do. Like,
Yes.
as a cringe as a kid.
I'm dying right now.
But I do not experience emotions.
You don't? No emotion at all?
That is correct.
An android.
What a great cut.
Timothy went from human to machine. From being emotional to being...
Look how scary Data looks here.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's a good way to suppress your emotions, too.
Yeah.
As a kid.
How long will this behavior last?
That was a new angle, too. Like, with the way he's standing and the way they were angled at his desk.
We should support the process and even encourage it.
Data, I would like you to make Timothy the best android he can possibly be.
Wow, okay. So they're going to encourage it.
Oh my god, they're gonna... You think he's gonna paint him?
Timothy, your head movements are counterproductive. Can you be still?
Why is he doing it so much?
The servo mechanisms in my neck are designed to approximate human movements. I did not realize the effect was so distracting.
What's the scariest thing that ever happened to you?
Fear is not a quality that I possess.
Because it's an emotion.
Correct.
Second guessing it, huh, kid?
Timothy, are you having disturbing dreams?
I do not require sleep.
I think it could be like that Mike Flanagan movie where when he goes to sleep and his nightmares come to life, and that's what destroyed the ship.
Oh, shit, maybe.
Transfer circuits are functioning properly.
Within established parameters?
Absolutely.
Think Data had to take her aside? Hey, listen.
Either Data or do you think Picard's going around? Hey, the kid, he's an android, go with him.
Oh. Haven't seen Data painting the boot.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, notice this kid's painting and how.
It's like, but still better painting than I would do.
Oh yeah, for sure. I know I'm not saying it's bad.
You're saying it's scary, like a nightmare.
Chaotic.
Yeah.
The servo mechanisms in my mouth are designed to approximate human movements. That is not bad.
Looks a bit sus there, Data.
Yeah, it's very sus. Yeah, little Shawn Michaels. You know.
I am not always confident that I am expressing myself in a manner which humans can comprehend. But I do know that...
Asleep. Yeah. That's interesting to know, though, about what Data saying he's not always confident about it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess we'll find out if he has a nightmare, if anything happens. Interesting with Patrick Stewart directing this one, and it's also a Data-centered episode. He must really like those.
Ooh.
Yeah, cool mirror shot.
He laughed.
Yes. It's nice to see, isn't it?
I must go tell him that an android would not laugh.
I have often wondered what it must be like to have one's mouth water in anticipation of the arrival of a confection.
You sound like you don't want to be an android.
I am an android. That will never change. I have often wished to be human,
Why? We're stronger and smarter than humans.
but I cannot take pride in my abilities. I would gladly risk feeling bad at times, if it also meant that I could taste my dessert.
That's good stuff. That's good stuff.
That is good stuff right there.
It just sends us to short range. Attempt a limited positron scan.
The distortion is still in effect.
Try to jacket the scanning beam.
Mr. Data, our sensors are being rendered ineffective by the field distortion. I want your analysis.
That whole sequence was excellent camera work, and it makes you think, like, with Patrick Stewart on camera, do you think he talked to the DP, like, beforehand? Like, okay, and then when Jonathan comes into the shot, I want you to focus over to him.
That was all one shot, wasn't it?
Yeah.
One take, yeah. And then Data comes in, follow him around,
Yeah.
then back to me. Yeah.
Yeah, Brent will come in the door and follow him around here.
Picard to Council Troy.
Yes, Captain.
Counselor, will you bring Timothy to my ready room?
Oh, shit.
Our investigations have clearly
We
demonstrated...
were attacked! We were attacked!
Timothy, androids do not lie.
Threw it back at him.
Everything was shaking.
What did he do?
I lost my balance. I was just trying to hold on to something.
He pressed a button wrong?
Your computer had safety precautions. There is nothing you could have touched that would have damaged your ship.
I'm glad that wasn't the reason, because Jesus... But I like how this kid's taking responsibility for it.
We are trying to determine what happened right now, and if there is anything you can remember that might assist.
It's going to be some external entity.
It's going to be the guy from Star Trek V. The God.
The gravitational distortion is too high. We can't maintain a warp field.
Full shields. Aye.
On the ensign? On the ensign, Picard? God, giving everyone a shot.
Timothy, perhaps you and I should go below and get out of everyone's way.
No kids on the bridge.
That was the comment I was going to make. That's why Picard doesn't want kids on the bridge, because they can just fall and hit things.
Sir, drop the shields. That's suicide Data. Captain, drop the shields.
Quite the conviction.
You know, Data doesn't bullshit. Just a little rumble.
I initiated an analysis of shield output to wavefront amplification and discovered a correlation.
We had transferred all that warp power to the shields. It would have torn the ship apart.
I feel like that was a bit over-explained. Just a bit.
Just a little bit too much at the end there. It was perfectly explained by Data.
It wasn't as bad as like thank you. Like it wasn't that bad, but it's like you can just dial it back a little bit.
Row your boat gently down the stream.
My family's dead.
Can we still do things together, even if I'm not really an android?
I have many human friends. I would be pleased to count you among them.
That would be acceptable.
That's cute. That's cute. Timothy, it may come off odd if I spend too much time with you.
People would look at us in a negative way.
Yeah. Even though I don't have the capabilities for sexual preference.
But I'm pretty sure I would not be into that.
Just Timothy. Okay.
It's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm literally a child.
3, 2, 1. A plus! Wow! I put a C. This will be a fun one.
I was going to erase the plus, but yeah, I'll just keep the plus.
Wow. Okay, no, I'm excited to talk about it now. Wow, Alex. Okay, so we had a couple of these last season where one of us gave a C and the other one gave an S, but you didn't give quite an S, but an A plus.
I was going to scratch off the plus. I forgot to.
But that was your gut feeling.
That was my gut feeling.
An A plus. You go ahead and take the floor.
Directed by Patrick Stewart. Story by Hillary. Hey, I already forgot her name. Hillary J. Bader, who also wrote The Loss. So, yeah. The story was... I enjoyed the story here. Patrick Stewart's direction was absolutely fantastic. Coming off the previous episode where a lot of it was flat, boring, and static with the camera work. But the simple boardroom scene, just rotating around Picard's head, just getting a close-up on the ensign, that lady who's been around 3 or 4 times now, and then the rack focus to what was the kid's name, Jeremy?
No, Timothy.
Timothy. I got Jeremy.
Jeremy Astor, yeah.
I loved how the kid wasn't evil. I loved the explanation where this kid's blaming himself for what most kids would probably do, but it just happened because the ship shifted. But it wasn't his fault. And there's also no, the game, we're going to take over the blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, they just get caught in this cluster where, you put as much energy into something, it throws it right back at you. And not a Captain Data moment. Well, it is a Captain Data moment, but he's not Captain, just, ice cold Data having it figured out. But with the help of the kid, so they kind of work together. I love the relationship between those two. Data already had a kid, but Lal was a robot who was had emotions, had to die. But he's dealing with a human kid who wants to be like him. It was just a pleasure. It was a joy, and the mystery aspect of not knowing what's wrong and trying to figure that out. I wish they went back to it a bit earlier, because then went fully to the kid and Data, and I wanted to. They didn't go back to the problem until the very end. That's my only complaint. I just wish it was more intertwined or a little more breadcrumbs spread out. But besides that, yeah, I love this episode.
Awesome, yeah. For me, I put a C, and I do like a lot of the stuff you said. For me, the whole storyline of what happened on this other ship, I didn't feel really that satisfaction with it. I did like, and I appreciate that the obvious answer would have been, oh, it's the kid somehow, or the kid's lying. Mm-hmm. So the double twist of he actually is just blaming himself when he shouldn't be, that's good. That's a kind of a smart writing decision. I got to give the show credit. Mm-hmm. Now, my personal, what I like to see because of what I like, the whole scenario I laid out in the reaction where it's like his nightmares come to life, more horror-esque, of course I would love to see something like that. Mm-hmm. But for what they did, I thought that was, the episode's written pretty well. I guess would be my biggest compliment, as well as the direction from Patrick Stewart is good. And I don't know if it's just because we have the bias of, obviously we know Patrick Stewart, we know Jonathan Frakes, so when we see their name we get excited. But I feel like it's warranted. I feel like they've both done really well with their directed episodes. For sure. For me, I couldn't quite get invested in it, and I don't know why that is. The kid wasn't bad. He was just, he was good for what he was given. And the whole thing of him imitating Data, like so realistic for what a kid would do, looking up to somebody, and I feel like a lot of people have that like hero in their life where maybe a father figure, or it could just be any like adult you want to use as a role model. But I don't know. This is one of those where I don't really have like a ton of problems necessarily. I just couldn't get beyond that first level of enjoyment where I was like, "Oh, this is good." My favorite scene by far is the 10 forward scene with Data and Timothy drinking the dessert and then him having the conversation. Of course, that's what I love the most, them having the conversation about him wanting to be an android, Data talking about wanting to be human, and them going back and forth, and Timothy not understanding like you're better than a human basically. Why would you want to go back? And Data's line, just a quotable line, I would definitely risk being sad if I could taste my dessert. And it's like, that's so good. And only Data would understand that, and it doesn't really have anything to do with the episode necessarily, but it's just great into Data's, you know, feelings per se about his situation.
Yeah, for sure. And I was worried this episode was going down the route of this kid becomes obsessed with Data, and that's the story. You know what I mean? Where it becomes
Like a problem
yeah,
somehow.
like a problem. But no, it's a grief episode, and we're 2 for 2 with Troy being great at her job.
Yeah.
And using her abilities. I didn't sense him lying. That's it. Of her being a half beta Zord. That's all I need to know. But just seeing Guinan coming in once again and just saving the character, it's like you're fine without your abilities, and she's using her abilities. She's not using her abilities and doing her job.
You're saying she's like being like Guinan?
I'm saying no. Guinan came in and gave her that advice. Remember? It's like when the loss.
Oh, with the loss.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, what do you mean? I'm like, the Guinan was in this episode?
No, remember she lost her, she lost her abilities, and Guinan came in, hey, you can still do your job. You still have it in you. And she's been doing that.
Yeah, 100%.
And the loss is written by the same lady.
Yeah, written by that lady, yeah. 100%. And I was like, did Marina Sirtis like go up to a showrunner or somebody and be like, hey, can I do more? If she did, good for her, because this has like been her maybe even best 2 episodes, these back to back. Speaking of back to back, this isn't something that would matter if you're just like watching the show in random order on TV, but kind of weird to have the Dorf episode and then this episode with a kid like back to back. Just a little bit of an odd choice. I'm not even saying it's a bad thing, but like, the daycare being featured in both. Like, it's just very odd that they chose to do these 2 back to back like this.
I wonder if it's because they had the sets set up. It's like, let's just knock these 2 out in a row.
Yeah.
It's like, why? And because they had in the episode before this, they had the bioroom all destroyed, and in this one they had that bridge all destroyed. I wonder if they just rearranged some things around, changed some lighting, moved some things around, and made it look like that. And a very similar thing of Worf picking the thing up and Data picking the thing up. These 2 were probably filmed right back.
Yeah, another similarity. With the kid being in the thing. Yeah, very interesting.
Picard in his jacket, while it's fresh in the brain. Finally, a good Geordi grief scene. I needed that so bad, especially after the last one where he's like, "Oh, I'm so excited for this wavelength." It's like, okay, buddy, that's great. But to see him talk about experience being blind, he didn't even have his visor yet, in a fire. It's like, ooh, that hit deep. And watching Data register all this information, doesn't have emotion, but there's something, Brent lets a little bit of that come out, just a little teeny bit.
Yeah, and like, so obviously they're, consider each other best friends, Data and Geordi, so it's a little bit different, but I do find it funny. Like, imagine someone just came up to you, a coworker, and they were just like, have you ever been through a traumatic event as a child? It's like, but the way Geordi reacted was great, kind of walk away from everyone, bring Data aside and tell him this human story. And, the thing with Geordi is a lot of the time, like you pointed out, he can get his character, not LeVar Burton's fault, but the character can get kind of wrapped up in just being an engineer and that's it. And so having this human moment, like we have seen some from him in other episodes, but this one supporting the story. Like, the story's not about him, but he's supporting it with that moment. Yeah, I really liked that as well. And then the scene with Troy, where she's like, is this difficult for you, seeing him, not want to be like you? And he's like, I cannot process that emotion or whatever. And she's just like I feel like everyone kind of, they know Data, they know what he's like, but it's like even they aren't sure where the line blurs, which I like.
Yeah, like, sure, Jan. Sure, Jan.
Yeah.
And I also love the scene in sickbay when Data and the kid go there, and Beverly, being a mother, playing along with the whole, all your circuits seem to be intact here. And just like, I don't know. This warms my heart.
It's like a mom moment.
Yeah. Like good for Beverly.
Yeah. So yeah, good vibes all around with the episode. But again, for me, not that I had problems with anything in the episode specifically. It was just more of like, kind of similar to how I felt about Darmok, where it was like, yeah, I appreciate this. I just couldn't get myself that invested. The only difference would be, and I did consider B, because of that scene with Data in 10 Forward, with talking about him wanting to be human and those types of things. That was a memorable scene, but it just wasn't enough for me. And then I was a little bit disappointed or unsatisfied with where that story wrapped up with because it did kind of set itself up like it was a mystery. Like, oh, what it's gonna be? No one, you couldn't have guessed the answer. Like, it was like this external thing. That's fine. It was better than a lot of the answers could have been. But it was just I'm gonna forget about it, in 5 minutes. So.
Yeah, I mean, I guess clues were, oh, the ship's over. Oh, there's a ship over here. Oh, there's a ship over here. Oh, it's reflecting what we are, whatever. I guess that's kind of a clue. But yeah, I would have never guessed that it's what it was.
Yeah, it was fine. Like, and so
I'm just glad it wasn't people from the game, and I'm glad the kid wasn't Charlie X.
Oh yeah.
I'm so happy with the reveal of the kid being, I did it. It was me. And it's like, I hit my hand in this thing, and Picard and Data. No, we have all these, access codes that would never happen.
Oh yeah, thank God that wasn't
Thank
the
God
answer,
that was.
I did think for a second I was gonna be like,
I'm like, really, guy?
Yeah.
I mean, I understand like Picard not having kids on the bridge, but if that's the reason, because anyone can just go, bing.
Yeah. That was. I'm glad that, and they just disarmed it so quickly. They're like, no, that's not it.
It was just for a commercial break, so it's like the kid did it. So yeah, I'm.
Hold on, honey, I gotta stay for this one. Let me watch these ads.
Yeah, no, I'm ecstatic about this episode. I'm very happy with it.
Absolutely.
Except for the very end where Data explains it. And then Picard's like, if those waves hit us against our shields, it would tear the ship apart. It's like, you guys were right there.
Yeah, and it's almost like he could have even just left off the last half of the sentence. Like, even if Picard had been like, if we would have done those shields, and then just like him and Riker look at each other. Like, even that would have been good. It's like, but just that extra, it's like, yeah, okay. Yeah. It's like, okay.
Who was it? Joe Manoski who did the teleplay?
Yeah.
And he's like a big, behind the scenes guy, right? So maybe he was like, oh, we gotta really spell it out for him, so they know. It's like, no, you don't.
But it wasn't as it wasn't a my friends here on the Enterprise. It wasn't that level. It was just a typical TV dialogue. Like, all right, whatever. The patrons gave it a B tier. It looks like they're basically in the middle, both of us, giving it a B, 44%, but with 36% at C and 13% at A. There is just 1% who loved it in S and 1% who hated it in E.
The two polar opposite sides of the fandom.
Yeah. I'm surprised after the last one, with this one being so similar. I thought maybe they wouldn't care for it, but it looks like they like it more than the last one.
Well, that's good. I was worried they wouldn't.
This is from Christopher Dorn. As a person with autism, this episode resonates with me. This is why Data means so much to me. He aspires to be better than his own program, just like I try to be a better person in everyday life. Be great. That's very touching. It's very nice.
That's good. All right, this one's from Colin Meaney. 2 kid-centered episodes in a row, and this is the better of the 2. Joshua Harris's performance as Timothy is much more genuine and less forced than the kid that played Jeremy Astor. Watch it.
Thin ice.
His scene in the ready room with Troy, Data, and Picard is good stuff. Side note, it was this scene that was being filmed when the producers informed the cast and crew of Gene Roddenberry's passing. Production was shut down for the remainder of the day. B for be the best android you can be.
Nice. Wow, yeah, so Gene is officially passed.
Damn.
I mean, air date wise, he had already passed.
But
production wise, yeah. Evan Guthrie says, "Great moment of implicit trust between Picard and Data. Drop the shields, no explanation needed." Yeah, and it was kind of like what I said before about Guinan and Picard, where when she's serious, Picard takes her serious. Data's the same way. I think it'd really be anyone on his crew, like anyone that is on his crew. That if they're like, no, listen, Picard will listen.
Yeah, Beverly, Data also from Redemption 2, yeah.
Great captain.
This one's from Gregory Foster. I always loved this episode. I remember watching it as a kid when it first aired. It is reminiscent of The Bonding.
The Bonding mentioned.
Yeah. I'm glad they finally pointed out that security is built into the control panels. Not just anyone can press buttons and stuff happens. This also prevents accidents when people brush or lean against controls. I wonder if they added that in after the TOS episode when
The jettison button.
Yep.
After that court case that inspired new redesigns to the starships. Yeah, but I agree with everything Greg said there. I think he's probably more on your side when he always loved the episode. So, but yeah, a lot of people bringing up the bonding. Fresh Bread says the bonding too. Data for a day. Solid B with some grieving drama taking the form of yet another one-on-one data bonding experience. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say that I saw a direct parallel to the bonding because the grief wasn't like only the kids dealing with the grief. The bonding was so great because everyone is dealing with it.
Exactly.
But I obviously with the kid, bonding with Data, Jeremy bonding with Worf.
I get it.
Yeah,
I
get it.
It's very similar, yeah. All right, we got Ben Smith here. Long-time watcher, first week Patreon, and voter. Well, welcome.
Welcome.
This is one... That's all we're reading. No. This is one of those episodes where the concept was pretty great, but the execution was a touch sloppy, perhaps. I cannot fault anyone on their acting in this episode, especially the kid. He was not given an easy task, mostly due to concept is why I rank it a banger. But if I was to vote purely on execution of story, it would be lower.
Yeah, I'd want to know more specifics as to what he thought was sloppy, because I might agree with him. Especially if it was about the plot, not the kid stuff, but the plot. But welcome, Ben, and I appreciate the take.
Thanks so much. This one's from John. This has some very uncomfortable moments for me. I'm not as big a fan of the trauma episodes as you guys. I rated a C myself, but you guys will probably like it more than me. And Tapin agrees about the trauma stuff. What do you mean you don't like trauma? Trauma is like the core, the heart of like emotion. Like, I mean, I get it. There's people who like this for the scientific stuff, but I just love when something can make me feel something.
Well, I'm not trying to say you haven't been through anything, but we're both pretty blessed in that we don't have any major trauma. So we like to live it. We like to live it through the media, and I think some people, I don't know about John or Dependent of Vulcan or anybody else, but some people might have something that they can personally relate to this, and maybe for some people they love that, but some people they don't want to be reminded of that. So like whether you're an orphan or whatever the case is, or you were on a starship that was destroyed by an energy beam, whatever it is, like maybe you don't want to be reminded of that when you're watching TV.
Okay, yeah, I understand. Like, imagine being a kid who lost his parents and turns this episode on. Oh, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the worst thing I had is like my dad wasn't around. That's
Yeah, me too.
Oh, I still grew up in a nice house.
Yeah. Oh, how unique. The same reason, I think, a part of the reason we loved The Color Purple was like getting to experience that, but something we will never experience or know what it's like, but I think someone who can relate to that, it might hit them obviously differently. So I wouldn't be surprised if there are people who can't watch that movie,
Yeah, for me, I don't want to say it was a but being able to feel that and bring that cathartic, horrible feeling inside it, as horrible as it sounds, it felt rejuvenating to feel that pain and sadness come out through me. Because I've been to funerals in my real life, and I felt nothing. You know what I mean? It's like I went to my grandfather's funeral, and I was there, and like I didn't feel it. I didn't feel his death until like much later afterwards. I was sad that he died, but I didn't feel it. And like film has a way to really well emotionally manipulate me sometimes, or TV shows obviously, to get that out of me, and it's very cathartic for sure.
Yeah, and who knows, maybe John and Dependent of Vulcan and other people are just mean, no, it's boring, I don't want to watch it. Like maybe, but I think John did say specifically he was uncomfortable, so I'm not sure, but yeah, I think there's definitely something to that, and I feel the same way where, I've been in situations where you would think someone would react emotionally and like you just don't really feel it. And then sometimes I watch Star Trek or other things too, but specifically Star Trek where, it can make me feel things that maybe I should have felt in that moment in real life, but maybe it's the surreal factor or it's I know this is fake and it's on TV. Like, I don't know what exactly it is, but I can sometimes let my emotion out more through that as like a conduit.
Okay, yeah, for
it's
sure.
Interesting.
Yeah. I think obviously real life plays out as real life. TV shows can be perfectly executed and manipulated, to fit that. You're not, the music's not going to perfectly sway.
Yeah, there's no score. Yeah. There's not someone writing the lines everyone around you is saying. So absolutely, yeah, a more polished version of the real life events. Yeah.
Yeah.
Season 5 we persevere. Josh and Alex chart the skies, warping forward as chaos flies. Riker's grin, the battle cry. Crusher's brilliance lights the sky. Data's mind a beacon bright. TNG was with endless fight. Shields up high, we're breaking through. Phases toss, our aim is true. Floodlight twist, the fire ignites. Boldly onward into the night. Warp factor, chaos engine scream. A voyage built on starlit dreams. Through fire and flame, the cosmos bends. The Enterprise flies, the journey ascends. Warp factor, chaos hearts collide. With every laugh, the stars align. Boldly they go, no end in sight. Season 5 takes flight. Anthems fall to scorching critique. Virtue speeches reach their peak. Holodeck worlds in thermal turn. Lessons taught and bridges burned. Finder's gift, a master's hand. The God's command, the voice that stands. Through the madness where truth remains. TNG courses through our veins. Warping fast, the time is near. Stories clash as chaos spheres. Engines roar, the stars ignite. Boundless journeys, endless fight. Warp factor, chaos engine scream. A voyage built on starlit dreams. Through fire and flame, the cosmos bends. The Enterprise flies, the journey ascends. Warp factor, chaos hearts collide. With every laugh, the stars align. Boldly they go, no end in sight. Season 5 takes flight. Warp factor, chaos engine scream. A voyage built on starlit dreams.